Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
So, Mizzou won yesterday against number 19 Vanderbilt. They led in the second half by as many as 21 points. That was the lead with 8:43 to go in the game. But then Vandy stormed back, cut it to 1, and then a heave by Mizzou on the inbound. Mark Mitchell threw it right in the hands of Tyler Tanner, who had been hot all second half long. And he had a chance, a pretty good look at a half-court heave to win the game, but it clanked out, and Mizzou survives. The Tigers improved to 18-8, 8-5 in the SEC, and now they move on to at Arkansas this Saturday. But in a game that Mizzou appeared to have very well in hand, it did not seem that way in the final minutes at all. Vandy made that late push, and that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 19th day of February, 2026. Give us a call or text here, 573-875-KTGR, if you want to weigh in on how it happened for Mizzou and Vanderbilt. I mean, this has brought out, for me at least, the worst in sports culture now. Like, this is what we kind of do as sports fans. And I think it goes against why we like sports in the first place. Winning is a relief and losing is unacceptable. That type of mindset is what gets us to this place of, well, you won the game. You needed to because you're up 21.
Well,
and look,
I think that's right, though. That's right to have that mindset.
Right, but can you consider the opponent, please? And the perspective of what Mizzou needed to do to even get to a 21-point lead and how impressive that in and of itself was, and the fact that they did not, in fact, lose the game.
While your general point, I think, might be fair when it comes to sports culture, especially college sports fandom, football, basketball, we're the crazies. You know what I mean? I don't think it's applicable to last night, because I do think last night that was a relief to win that game. That was the most clear example of a sports game I've ever seen where it's okay to simply just say, wow, what a relief. I'm not experiencing or feeling that elation that I wish I was, had it come in any normal capacity at all. They were 2 inches from losing the game.
No, I get
after leading by 21 points.
If that had gone in, that's one of the worst fumbled bags in Mizzou basketball history.
And it's not a tournament game, and you'll always have Tyus Edney, and so I understand that.
Yeah.
But that would have been the worst ever. And like, if you try to remove the context of, well, it wasn't a tournament game, just in terms of the way to lose a basketball game, I don't think you could come up with one that would be worse than that if that would have happened. It did not. But to kind of challenge your original point, what was the reaction of the crowd inside Mizzou Arena to that ball not going in? Was it?
I get it. Like the way that, that was a relief. Yeah, no,
or was
I get
it just stunned silence because what the hell just happened? Yeah, they weren't cheering. They were just, their jaw was on the floor as mine was in my living room. I was dumbfounded. I just sat there for 20 minutes and I didn't move. They won the game, and we'll talk about that. And the significance of that is not lost on me. It sure beats the alternative. But wow, that was, and here's the part actually that bothers me more than the way it felt. The metrics matter, and they didn't really get a lot of credit in the metrics for winning by a point compared to if they had won. I mean,
they did move up a little bit, though. Like you missed out on the metrics home run. Like that's what you missed out on.
It was there. It was there to be had.
Yeah, you're able to really boost those up if you win by 15. Like the way that it was maybe looking when I believe it was. I think it was Anthony Robinson that hit a 3 to put him up 13 after Tanner had gotten his second and one or something like that. They cut it to 10. Then Mizzou comes out of timeout and then hits a 3, and you're like, okay, they've got it back on track. But then Vandy keeps on coming. They just wouldn't miss. I mean, they didn't miss. Mizzou turned it over too much. there were no fouls called on Vandy for like 6 minutes in a row during that stretch, and there should have been at least one or two.
Probably so.
But like all in all, yeah, you do need to finish a lot better. It is a huge learning lesson for Mizzou's backcourt to be like, okay, if a team presses you like this, you've got to have better decision making.
Your point guard has to be able to break the press. I'm sorry.
Spacing, things like that. When you have both Robinson and Barrett on the floor like they did in that situation, you got to be better.
It's the problem. That was not good.
No, it was Vandy. Give them credit, like they took advantage of each one of those, but there was only one way to get back in the game, and if it was Mizzou letting you do it. And so, you feel a little bit disheartened by the fact that you couldn't shoot up a few spots in the net. But here's why I actually am not all that disheartened by the metrics being what they are.
Okay.
Because I promise you that I am not just prisoner of the moment after I read one article about this and I'm like, I'm sold. This is a new thing that the committee is putting more weight under. And it kind of happened last year and is starting to happen once again this year. Wins above the bubble is the number to pay more attention to, if you ask me, than your net.
Why do you think that, though, relative to what the committee is going to do?
Because
it sounds good.
Because the committee ranks these teams, there's a net ranking, but ultimately how they determine your worthiness to the NCAA tournament is resume. That's it. Who did you beat? Well, who did you play? And who did you beat? And there are a bunch of different records that you weigh against each other, and it's hard to boil it down to one number. The best metric, though, that has boiled it down to one number, it's not perfect, and there's different ways to measure it, but the best thing we have now to measure resume is wins above the bubble. And that essentially measures your wins, and it does not matter if you won by 1 point or by 21 points. It gives you the same credit for beating the team that you beat, no matter the margin of victory. And Mizzou got a good boost in wins above the bubble for beating Vandy last night to the point where they're top 40 in that category. And so, they have a top 40 resume in the NCAA tournament. That's good news if you're trying to grab an at-large bid.
Does the committee subscribe to that being the best way to do it, though, is my question. What makes us believe that they think that now? You think it. I don't doubt that you think it.
Well, interesting today, there were some media members that got a chance to see the process a little bit of how the NCAA tournament committee is selecting these teams. And while there's a whole bunch of information, they still consider a whole bunch of factors. But the senior vice president, Dan Gavitt, has brought this number up and singled it out. And I don't think that's for nothing. North Carolina, everyone was asking, why the heck is North Carolina in last year? How did they sneak in? Well, they were 42nd in wins above the bubble, even though there were other metrics that maybe suggest, maybe you're not that good and West Virginia's better. Well, no, they edged out West Virginia in that category because their resume was measured to be better than West Virginia's was. And so, again, not the only metric, but if you're wanting to grade how Mizzou has done against their schedule, essentially wins above the bubble is how can you expect an average bubble team to do against this schedule in this game? How likely are they to win it? And if you win it, and it's a less likely game for an average bubble team to win, you get more credit for it. In your quad 4 games, obviously you're expected to win those and you get less credit for them. It's hard to explain in this type of setting, but Mizzou got a whole lot of credit for winning last night's game against Vanderbilt, and it was right behind their wins against Florida and against Texas A&M. It was right there. So to me, I am still heartened by the fact that when the committee looks at what Mizzou did, they will not care that they blew a 21-point lead with 8 minutes left. They will just see that Mizzou beat Vandy. They had more points than the Commodores did. Okay, that's enough for us to say that you get credit for beating a team that is top 15 in the net. And that's the other thing. Net ranking, it's more to pay attention to other teams' net ranking than your own. Because it allows you to stack up what your schedule has as far as beefiness and as far as toughness. Your number probably isn't as much of a concern to you as opposed to where the other teams are, because that measures efficiency. That measures what a team is predicted to be. But obviously, they don't do what they're predicted to do each and every time. They either play above it or below it. And so you have different metrics to measure that. And one of the best ones, at least now I think, is wins above the bubble. So yeah, I'm subscribing.
I'm not disagreeing. If I can trust the committee to subscribe to something like that, then that would be great. But I'm a skeptic at this point, because if it's new and we haven't really seen a lot of data on the impact of it. The North Carolina example is a good one from last year, because I did look at that team and said, I don't know, it doesn't really seem like they are as deserving, and yet they did get in. And so if that's maybe something to hang your hat on, and look, I think metrics are going to continue to improve if Missouri gets to 10-8. I still think that's what they have to do. Last night was a monumental step toward being able to achieve that. Arkansas did not have the wonderful win, elation, the high that I was hoping they would get. I had said on yesterday's show, let them beat Bama, let them beat Alabama, and, come in and be fat and happy. They lost in double overtime, so they're going to be hungry. Arkansas is going to be looking.
It was an awesome game. My gosh,
awesome game. It was a crazy night in college hoops last night. Missouri, for better or worse, ended up being part of it. But the Arkansas game is still going to remain, as it would have been when we talked about it yesterday, a big-time, difficult task. But they can't go 0-2 this week. They got a huge win last night. It frustrates the hell out of us the way that they did it, because it seems like this is Groundhog Day all over again, with Dennis Gates and his team not being able to close games very effectively, and you always have to be on pins and needles wondering when the other shoe is going to drop, even when you're up, whatever they were, 12, 13 points with just a few minutes to go. It's never really over, and you can see the melt coming from a mile away, and he has got to figure it out when it comes to strategy to break the press. That's different than just go in the corner and hide and hope for the best. We got to get that out of the repertoire. It doesn't work. So, find ways to coach them up in those moments, because there will be moments like it again. All that rant is now out, Andy. Holy smokes, were they playing good basketball last night up until they began to melt. I mean, there were some really, really good things happening from a number of different players, and it gets lost in the final score. It gets lost in the way that we have to talk about the game because of how it ended. But we saw a lot of really, really good things that we needed to see from the guys that needed to do them in order to win this game.
Call or text us with your thoughts on the game last night. Mizzou squeaks by Vandy. Could have won by more. They still won. Call or text us with what you think about it. 875-KTGR. I believe we have LJ here on the KTGR hotline. LJ, what you got?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. I guess the good thing about it is you roll into Saturday, and once that game starts, you maybe forget about how you ended up getting this win with Vanderbilt. But I'm going to take a little different approach than the comments that were just made, and that's on the defensive side of the ball. And this is a little bit of this coaching group's era as well, as like you said about finishing a game. We have got to figure out how to rotate or stop helping on defense in such a scattered manner. Vanderbilt shot well, Texas shot well, but they had wide open shots. I mean, we just don't have a team defensive concept in the man where I think we help too much is the biggest problem. Especially with a 12-point lead, give the man you're guarding another step, stay on his right side, and prevent the three. Don't go chasing the guy who may have a step on your teammate and leave your man open for a three. Just guard straight up. And so I'm more concerned about how we play defense as a team. And I also think this, we talk about, well, we're only 8 deep. North Carolina almost won a national championship a few years ago. and they only went 8 deep. You can play 8 deep, and that's about all we've got. And we don't run a lot. So I think all the stuff is kind of we just got to fix like you mentioned earlier about the offense not finishing a game. Defensively, we've got to figure out how to not give these teams open looks. And I think it starts with your help defense, which is just, it's too quick to get out of position in there and you're running. And then some of our big guys, finally my comment on defense, our big guys like Phillips and these guys stay in front of the man, in front of the basket. The old school idea that's keep him between you and the you stay between him and the basket. And too often we get leveraged and these little guys shoot over top of us. Move your feet and get over. And this has been systemic of this coaching staff as well. And I don't want to be too critical. Maybe it's some players, but defensively, the help defense and the positioning of where we are, guard the strong side of the ball handler. Don't get them give you a step. And this happens over and over again. My final thought is this time of the season reminds me the college basketball is about a month too long. The officiating in the SEC and the home and home is really atrocious. And it was so out of sync last night. The game was too long. They stared at the replays too long. I think that probably hurt our mojo a little bit. But more than anything, on the offense, like you said, on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, there's things that we keep doing year over year, game over game, that have got to get corrected in their basic basketball. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, LJ, here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So my thought on it is, yeah, 3-point shooting, as far as Mizzou defending the 3-point line, it's still not probably where it needs to be.
No, it's not very good.
I'm not going to ding this team for what they've done defensively as a whole this year, though. Like, they've been better this year. That's bore out in the numbers. You can be, you can nitpick and say, like, look, you need to be better in these moments. And you're right. Like, that Vanderbilt's a great shooting team, but maybe they didn't need to hit one or two more of those shots because of how wide open they were left. And yeah, Mizzou can close out and switch a little bit better than they were in those moments. I don't know what the lull and the 8-minute mark did as far as when they reviewed like 3 different potential flagrant fouls at the same time. And that one,
that was weird.
It was odd. I actually thought like that was more of like a rule thing than maybe an officials thing. Like, I don't know why a coach can decide to appeal and then the other coach can say, well, I'm going to appeal too. And like, well, what's happening here? Like,
yeah, I didn't even really care as it was happening. I was just chilling. I was on my phone. I'm like, Mizzou's going to win this by so many points. Like, they can do their little thing. It doesn't matter. I don't know that obviously that didn't happen that way. I don't know that impacted them. And I don't really, LJ kept talking about the offense. I wasn't really talking about the offense. The way they finished the game is a problem, and mostly, I guess breaking the press is what he meant. Yeah, you have to figure that out. That's technically offense. The defense as well. It's just generally they don't finish games well consistently as a team up 10 or 12. Like, when they get into those positions, it's like they're a different team in the final few minutes of a game. And that's on both ends. That's with the ball. That's without the ball. They have to figure out why that is. And I mean, it seems clear watching it why that is, but they have to figure out ways to not have it happen again. Because, again, you can just feel it coming. And, Dennis Gates at times tries to call a timeout. He was out of timeouts. He used them all, which is why you get that Mark Mitchell play where there's no ability to kind of draw up exactly what you want in that moment. Obviously, to me, and I want to ask you about that play, is something that they draw up and say, in this situation, heave it. Coach Gates' comments after were not totally FCC compliant, but his thoughts were Mark Mitchell, they got to figure out how to throw. And even Mark Mitchell's dad maybe said, got to work on the throw, son. But what's your thought generally? This isn't a play you'd think you would see come up too often, but 1.8 on the clock, and he heaves it.
So here's the thing. They didn't have a timeout then, so they can't call one.
Correct. So that's why they leaned on what they practiced for this. I'm assuming that this is like the plan.
And it's interesting. I don't know how far in advance they would have been talking about certain scenarios, because after their last time out, they're probably trying to get the ball in with about 20-ish seconds left and then trying to get it in the best foul shooter's hand. I think it was Barrett who got fouled and made it a 2-possession game.
Made it 4 points. Yeah.
And so with 7 seconds left and you make it a 2-possession game and you don't have a timeout, I don't know how much you're talking about scenarios in that
I don't
time
think you
frame.
are.
And
I don't think you are. They're leaning
Yeah.
on, I assume, what they practice in November or October. Like,
Right.
that's, I would think that's
So you
something
gotta
that
lean
happens.
back on things that you've practiced before when it comes down to that.
And Gates didn't seem like he was mad that he did choose to throw it. It's maybe he
Right.
was critiquing the fact that it was errant.
Well, yeah, it needs to be on point because
If you're going to do it.
can't be too short. You can't be shallow on the pass, and you can't be too long on the pass. You can't
Go out of
be
bounds.
heaving it the other way. It goes out of bounds, and then it comes all the way back, and Vandy has a half-court inbound to win the game. So, like, it has to be kind of perfect with if Mitchell is going to do that. I more would have liked to see somebody help him a little bit better in that scenario, like break to the corner. Even if you're trapped, like, okay, just hold the ball for 2 seconds and let them hit you.
Yeah, you got,
get the ball in. That's really all you have to do.
And I would have to go back and look. I don't think he took the full 5 seconds necessarily. I don't think it was really even close to a 5-second violation, which is like the one thing you absolutely can't have. You can't do the thing he did, but you definitely can't not get the ball in. But it's like, inbound the ball and just,
yeah,
shoot your free throws.
No,
I don't have a problem with that. I don't know. I mean, I get it that honestly, if you want to get cheeky with it, throw it off the defender's leg and let it roll out of bounds. I mean, that
gets dangerous. That's a little.
It gets dangerous, but so does what he did. I mean, holy smokes, that was dumb. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
What he did at least got it further away from the basket and forced a half-court heave. If you throw it off a leg and another defender's there, they could probably lay it up and in. So I wouldn't want that. But what he did was not great. At least you can walk the baseline too. So like you don't have to stay in one spot. You can make space for yourself.
They panic. They are a team of people that panic in those moments. That is what I have seen consistently under Dennis Gates for 4 years.
Well, okay, but like they didn't panic at Texas A&M when they needed plays to close out that game. Like it can't be a referendum on what they do.
No.
Like,
that's a good point. The Texas A&M game was nip and tuck. It was back and forth. It was the whole when they have a game in hand, they consistently go to turtle mode. That might be anecdotal, but I do believe it's true. And I think people that watch Mizzou basketball kind of know what I'm talking about. You can feel it coming, and then you're in the moment where it's like you got one job. Happy, just tap it in. Give it a little tap-a-roo. All we had to do was inbound the ball and nearly become the laughingstock of college basketball with what would have been the worst play I've ever seen in sports. I mean, if that goes in, holy smokes, is that a bad look? And it tanks your season. So Dennis Gates said after the game that they bent but didn't break. I don't really agree with that commentary. They broke, and they got lucky. They
did not break. I disagree with that. No, they bent. They bent quite a bit. Breaking would be losing the game. They did not lose the game.
They did the same activity as they would have done had that shot gone in. It would have been their role in it was completely removed from it. They got it to a point where the other team had a chance to throw up a half-court shot to win the game. There's nothing Missouri can do to change that at that point. They were fortunate that the ball did not drop through. They broke in terms of like allowing that to be an opportunity. That can't happen again. So huge win, but there's a reason the crowd reacted the way that it did. You know what I mean? Like the proof was in the pudding on that. So I'm very glad they won. I really, really wish they would get it figured out to not have that happen again.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. How do you feel after Mizzou's win over Vandy last night with the way it happened? How do you feel about future games now with the way it happened? Call or text us with your thoughts on 875-KTGR. Well,
don't get up big because
I would like to see them get up by 10 at Arkansas. I would just say that.
Me too.
I would like to see
I
that.
agree. Small joke.
Up next, we'll talk more about that. We'll update our SEC basketball tiers at 5:05. Don't go anywhere here on The Big Show.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Colombia. Coco writes, "Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a three-legged lean. Well, Coco, Crutch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
Would you care for some nightmare fuel? It's 5 a.m., and while you're still shaking off the cobwebs from the previous night's snooze, something else is lurking in another web. Time for a shower. Reach down to start the water, and it's a spider. 8 eyes watching you, and now 8 legs coming right for you. You know what you need? 5 stars. Not like throwing stars, although to be fair, you'd use just about anything to kill that dastardly shower spider. All you need is a 5-star service plan from Steve's Pest Control. Steve scares the life out of pests. Oh, who are we kidding? Steve and his team don't scare them, they kill them. All of them. And because your fear of spiders, wasps, termites, and other insects is very real, Steve's is here to let you know that he and his team are real too. They're not some corporate conglomerate. They're legendary, local, and 100% real.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Life has many sweet sounds, whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration. Hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
As we get into the heart of basketball season, 1851 Underground Tap and Grill wants to remind you whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you want to plop down with some friends and watch some of that college conference action on TV, they've got a spot for you. Your favorite cold beer or cocktail and delicious appetizer or dinner options on the menu. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's no secret that it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
My name is Max Volkner. I'm a marketing consultant with Zimmer Communications. Working as a marketing consultant was not something I was expecting to do in my lifetime whatsoever. So getting the job here and then having so many helpful people around you to help you be successful was really awesome for me and is what made me fall in love with this job. Team is great. We all want to see each other succeed. I think that's a huge part of working here and huge benefit of working here.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
This is the year she gets an upgraded diamond, the year that dad finally gets his retirement watch, and the year that your daughter graduates, so you give her the necklace she's always dreamed of. Family Pawn is not your traditional pawn shop, but they are your secret to saving big on stunning jewelry for every occasion. Family Pawn, where you'll find timeless treasures for a fraction of the cost. FamilyPawn.com.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Every Thursday is steak night at Hy-Vee. Get a choice strip steak and 2 sides for just $12, 4 to 7 p.m. only at Hy-Vee.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
So Mizzou did get it done last night against Vanderbilt. Call or text us with how you saw it play out in your eyes. 875-5847. You're on The Big Show. Like, I get it. You don't want to have to hold on for dear life and hope and pray that that shot from half court doesn't go in. And if it did, you acknowledge what it would have been if you ended up having to deal with that type of loss. I get it.
Which I couldn't have, by the way.
No, I understand.
I probably would have had to quit this show because I would not have ever watched another Mizzou basketball game.
Sure.
That would have been.
I understand that part. No, I get it. Here's the way I see it. Let's say that Vanderbilt was the team that led for most of the game.
Yeah.
And they were doing what they were supposed to do. They were they started as 5.5 point favorites. It got down to 3.5, but Ken Pom said they win by 6.
Right.
Let's say they controlled most of the game, and Mizzou was the team that was making the push at the end. Maybe not a 21 point push like Vandy did, but like they had one final last gasp to try
Yeah.
and win the game or tie it or something like that. No one, if I tried to spin it as, well, look how close they were to a really good Vandy team, you'd be no, this is not the point for moral victories. We are too late in the season. We need wins. Well, if it's not the time for moral victories, it's also not the time for, what's the inverse? Moral losses, or psychological losses. I don't think those should exist either. I think they should be wins. You should celebrate the fact that it was a win.
I do push back a little bit on arguing with yourself of what might have been said, because we'll never know. I would say that if we're evaluating from the tournament resume standpoint, under that scenario, there wouldn't be room for moral losses. So that would be correct, because the resume needs them to get to 10-8, I'm pretty sure. So that would be the logic there. It's because truly, if it happens, I'm trying to think, honestly, if it happens in a way where it's not the half-court heave that's required from Mark Mitchell just giving the ball away, and the shot goes in or doesn't, I do think it's actually drastically different in the way that you feel about it. It was just so colossally stupid that it would have, even as poorly as they played down the stretch, for as well as they played earlier, they built the cushion to allow for a lot of crap.
Sure.
It came
I understand that.
It came to a point where it required something so colossally stupid to set up that final shot that would have lost Missouri the game. But if they don't have that, if Mark Mitchell just inbounds the ball or he throws it like that, and it's a tip battle that 1.8 goes off the clock before anyone possesses it and you win.
Right.
I think I could have been a lot more positive about it.
But the thing is, the reason why I'm positive about it is because they played well enough for 32 minutes to allow an absolutely awful final 8 minutes to not hurt them. Yeah. And so, again, if you shifted those 8 minutes to a different part of the game and they played really well to end it, we wouldn't be talking about this today. We'd be saying, they overcame a big-time deficit and all of that.
That's why it's notable, because they don't play the same when they're closing out a lead. It's why we talk about in baseball that the ninth inning is the hardest. Those are the toughest 3 outs to get, because it shouldn't be, but it is psychologically. And there is a psychological aspect to this when we see Missouri in these spots that sometimes they don't close them out. And it doesn't happen every time.
But they do close them out. That's the thing, though. They do. I think the only one that maybe they haven't, I can't remember how much they led by when they were losing to Georgia. Their largest lead was 46-39 with 14:50 left. That was a back and forth game. Let's say this, they haven't lost any of those games that you're talking about.
This year, I don't think so. They weren't up crazy on Notre Dame. Obviously should have won that game. But no, that's fair. But there are some close calls to where it's let's get that out of the lexicon.
There's a lot of college basketball teams experience close calls all season long.
Absolutely, but not many like that. I don't think I've ever seen a team experience.
And I acknowledge that. I for sure.
And so there's time for, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about Arkansas and about resume and all that. But it's okay to come out and go, wow, guys, that. Again, if you just don't make the Mark Mitchell play, I think I am 300% more cheery about it. But knowing that when push comes to shove and it's a you have one job situation, and that is something that they are capable as a team, that's scary. It's a scary thought, because they could have done nothing different and lost the game by virtue of that play.
Sure.
They're lucky that they didn't lose the game. It's not really that controversial.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. Marty here on the KTGR hotline. Marty, what you got?
Well, I think we can all agree it wasn't a pretty game, especially the last 8 minutes or so. Whether or not it was a bent or broke situation, I'm with Andy. I don't think that it qualifies as a broken situation. I think that would have been a loss, and that would have been terrible. They did enough early to be able to survive a disastrous 8 minutes. I think what Mitchell had to do in that situation was get the ball over. I think it was Robinson guarding Tanner. he had to get the ball over their heads, and he didn't do it, and throw it in the, what would that be? If you're looking at the court, I guess that would be the right-hand corner of the court. If you're looking across the way from the team benches, and he didn't get enough on it. So that's why this became a situation. It was a decent idea. If he gets it over their heads and it bounces once, it's game over. But
what you got to be careful of is throwing it the length of the court and then it goes out of bounds. Someone does have to touch the ball in that situation. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's certainly I think there are a number of different things that Mark Mitchell could have done differently, and appreciate the call, Marty, here on the big show, KTGR. But I mean, I understand that it was almost literally halfway down.
That was crazy.
Can we also go back to the percentages of how many half court shots go in? That's a very low percentage shot. Let's remember that.
It's low percentage. But again,
I think saying that Mizzou's lucky that it didn't go in. Well, the likelihood is that they would be just incredibly unlucky for it to go in.
I'll be the only voice of reason if I have to be.
What do you mean?
The play happens, and it was a mistaken play. You're up 21, and without that horrific moment, you still aren't in a situation where you can lose the game. It's impossible. Even as crazy as down the stretch was, they were up by so many that it wouldn't have been possible to lose it without something that dramatically wrong to where they've got the ball in their hands to take a shot. Yes, it's from beyond half court.
Yeah.
It should have never came to that. Not because they shouldn't have melted down, but because you should just be able to figure out 1.8 and inbound the basketball to where you avoid a situation like that.
Yeah.
So my stance on why they did break, it's semantics, but it's because they could have done nothing different. And you're saying if that ball, which was halfway down, happens to go in, now it counts as they broke. Well, their rolling it was already done. Their hands were off the wheel. It was up to that basketball and the guy that was shooting it at that point, whether or not Mizzou broke. But their actions remain the same, and that would be the concern. Don't leave it up to Vanderbilt. Don't give them the chance because you played so much better than them that it shouldn't have come into fruition. But overall, I'm going to point out what's real and what happened. But overall, they won the game, and that is still the most important thing. And you're right, from a resume perspective, you won or you didn't win is more important than how it happened. I do worry that they'll still look at the net and that they could have had the same boost the Texas Longhorns got from winning by 17 on Saturday. But that is secondary to, obviously, you just had to win the game. They did win the game. I did point out there was a lot of really good things. Jaden Stone is so freaking fun to watch. I mean, he is just one of the more fun basketball Tigers we have seen. Fills his role, does it well. You can trust him. They got to get a little bit more Jaden Stone in breaking the press, and they'll be okay. But there were some really good things last night. There were. Don't get me wrong. And the goodest of all is that they won. I'm not disputing that.
Trent Burns was plus 19 last night.
Trent Burns, other than I don't want him taking threes, he was a
plus 19.
He was a force for good. He was a force for good last night, and that I don't know that we had seen that before from him. Credit to Dennis Gates for seeing that, because I kind of thought, oh no, it didn't work out against Texas. When you see the aftermath of it, you go, oh, wait a minute. Against a team that doesn't have size, Trent Burns may not have as much of a tough task to body up against these big guys underneath. He might be able to use his size to his advantage, and he did. He was very solid last night.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Let's go out to the KTGR hotline once again. Hello, who's this?
This is Chris.
Chris, you're on the big show. What you got?
Following Marty's call, and they talking about Mitchell's call. Mitchell is ambidextrous. He threw that, I think, with his right hand, which is not his dominant hand. Why wouldn't he have thrown it with his left hand?
I have no clue.
Is he ambidextrous?
I have no clue. Appreciate the call here on the big show. It's mind-boggling what he was thinking in that moment. I agree.
It is panicky play, but
bit of a panic play.
Gates was not upset about him passing it like that and doing a heave. That tells me it wasn't something that surprised him to see. Maybe they practice it and they say, if you're in this spot, this is what we want from you. he just said, we got to throw it better. But that's a tough play. I mean, you're setting yourself up to do something that you don't normally do. I understand the risk associated with just inbounding it, getting fouled, and now there's 1.1 left, and if you miss a free throw, you can lose on a full court heave. That's playing it straight up, I think, is my approach there. And then if you're worried and you're up 3, you can foul. So I don't know. It is what it is. They won. I'm glad they won. Believe me, I'm very glad they won. It would have been very difficult to imagine doing this show today had that shot gone down.
No, I get it. James says Arkansas 92, Mizzou 68 this Saturday.
That's tomorrow, James. Save that for tomorrow. I don't
2
think
days. In Saturday. Yeah.
Well, I mean, tomorrow is
tomorrow. Oh, right. Or who you got? Yeah.
On his prediction, I think that they're going to probably be more competitive than that. I was hoping that Arkansas would go to like 5 overtimes to just really wear those guys out. But it's. Both teams had chaotic Wednesdays, and so roll the ball out on the court in Fayetteville and see what happens. You're playing with house money, though, really in that one now, because you got the win this week that you, I think, had to have to continue on your path. Now get greedy, but if you don't win, it's not, all is not lost, certainly.
And even if they lose by a lot, let's not be shocked by that, because, look, that can happen.
I'm going, hey, man, I'm expecting to win. You got to expect to win these games.
We're back to expecting to win games.
No, I do not expect that, but I would like to see it.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us your thoughts on Mizzou's win last night. We'll update our SEC basketball tiers at 5:05. We'll also give you another chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets at 5:20. If you want to listen to the Mizzou basketball game and go enjoy some chili at the same time, they'll be running simultaneously on Saturday. If you're the winner of our Mizzou basketball trivia question, Brendan, we only have one pair left.
Okay.
So I made the question a little tougher today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, blame him, not me, then, I guess I would say when it comes to that.
Yeah. I made it a little bit tougher, but
I'm sure I won't know it.
I'm sure Mizzou Hoops fans will have a good idea of the answer.
I copped out yesterday and gave you 2 answers and hoped one of them was right. So that's my trivia.
Yeah. So that's coming up at 5:20. Be listening for your chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets. We'll give you a trivia question involving Mizzou basketball. You'll text us the answer. If you're the first one to text the correct answer, you'll win that pair of tickets. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we'll go under the bus. Some shenanigans at the Winter Olympics involving the ski jump and the maintenance of the ski jump chute. It almost was disastrous, I would think. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball just squeaked by number 19 Vanderbilt last night, 81-80. The Tigers prevailed. They led the game with 8:43 left by 21 points, but then Vanderbilt made a huge push towards the end and had a half-court heave with a chance to win it, but it did not fall for Tyler Tanner. Mizzou finished with 5 guys in double figures, led by Jaden Stone with 19. Teal Barrett and Trent Pierce both had 16 points for the Tigers. They're 18-8 overall, 8-5 in the SEC. They move on to their next road contest this Saturday at Arkansas. Tip-off is set for 3 o'clock. Pregame at 2:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball takes the floor again tonight after a week off. Tigers host the Auburn Tigers. Mizzou trying to shake off back-to-back losses in conference play. It'll tip off at 6:30 this evening. Coverage begins at 6:15 right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with I-70 Towing, Mid-Missouri's go-to crew. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team you hope you never have to meet, I-70 Towing.
Tracking a big cool down tonight with low temperatures around freezing in the low 30s and upper 20s. Wind chills could be in the upper teens tomorrow morning. We'll be feeling over 20 degrees colder tomorrow in the 40s. And that will continue through the weekend with high temperatures in the 30s on Sunday and Monday. We do see another warm up next week, returning back to the 50s by Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Nate Splater, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Ready for all the chili you can handle? The Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, benefiting the Boys and Girls Club of Columbia, is rolling into the Wyndham Executive Center in Columbia on February 21st. Teams compete with their best bowls of chili, wild costumes, and decked-out booths. Bring your appetite, vote for your favorites, and find out who wins. All in support of Mid-Missouri kids. Don't miss the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, Saturday, February 21st. Grab your tickets now at ktgr.com or the KTGR app.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. Late winter is the smart time to take a look at your electrical system before spring projects and new power demands put extra strain on it. If your panel is outdated, breakers trip often, or you're planning major upgrades, now is the time to make sure your system is ready. From panel upgrades and repairs to efficient lighting and future-ready electrical solutions, Midway Electric helps keep homes and businesses safe, reliable, and prepared for what's next. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Before the sun comes up and long after it sets, ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather keep working for you, gathering the information your family needs to take on the day, alerting you to breaking news and health and safety concerns in our area, plus tracking the latest weather conditions to help you plan ahead. It's everything you need to know from the team you trust most. ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather, where the news comes first.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Hey, kids! Tired of working out in the peace and quiet of your own home? Why be comfy when you could be cringy? It's about time you signed up for a gymbership. For 12 easy installments of $499.99, you can lie down on pre-soaked workout benches, enjoy awkward locker room talk, and get judged hard by dudes who look like they could rip a pickup truck in half. Gymbership comes with everything you see here, batteries not included. Or you could shop at Play It Again Sports for fitness and workout equipment. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. A auto claim came when my wife was rear-ended. Everyone was safe, but that left a lot of cosmetic damage on her brand new car. We called Phyllis, said, hey, this is what happened, and she's made it a very streamlined process. Phyllis lined out our rental car and made everything just so easy. And having 3 kids and losing a vehicle is a big deal, but Phyllis went to bat for us, got everything lined out, and made it a very easy process.
Every Thursday is steak night at Hy-Vee. Get a choice strip steak and 2 sides for just $12. 4 to 7 p.m. only at Hy-Vee.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Did a worker almost trip an American ski jumper?
There's an argument to be made that maybe he did, where they've got the snowblower out and the skier kind of like keeps going with the jump, but you can tell that there's like a little bit of a hesitation there. And I think it might have impacted the jump of USA's Ben Loomis believe this was yesterday.
That's pretty insane and dangerous at that. I'm at least impressed that he finished the jump because, like, you're going at pretty high rate of speed down that hill and you're trying to build up as much so that you can jump as high as possible. I mean, lucky he's okay from that.
Yeah, what I don't know is, like, could he have – there was some – I read where he thought about, stopping the jump. I don't know if they get, like, a do-over.
I think they maybe get multiple anyway. Like, you have a few to work with.
You would almost say if he was going to impact the progress as he's going down and getting ready for you're gaining speed for that jump, you'd probably prefer that he just knocks you down like well in advance of so that everybody
draw
sees
the foul
it.
already.
You got to sell it. You got to sell it for the foul. Ref, I was
Come
fouled.
on.
I don't
He's
know
elbowing me.
Now, in that sport, I don't know if the refs pay attention. I know in curling, we learned they do not.
Yeah, self-policing, yeah.
They're kind of decorative in that sport, so I don't know. But, I'm glad everybody's okay anyway. But that seems like you could probably snow blow the mountain like when somebody's not jumping on it. You know what I mean? Just a thought.
I agree.
Next time.
Maybe take advantage of your window. Oh, boy. And under the bus to Darren Peterson. This story has taken so many twists and turns over at Kansas. I mean, he's a great player, and Kansas is a great team still without him, but, I'm sure it's a headache. And the latest edition, he sat out the last 17 minutes last night. I think Kansas still won the game. But
they were up pretty big, and he hit a three on the sideline in front of Bill Self, and as he's going by, he taps him on the tummy and says, all right, coach, that's enough for me. Like, immediately following a made three to make the lead, whatever, to get to however many, he cleared 20 points. So it all still looks good in the box score. This kid's supposed to be like number one pick. I wouldn't touch him. I think it's a problem that he is this consistently unwilling to participate for his team. He's had some soft tissue injuries. And so people but that's a bad look if you watch the video from last night. I don't know.
It's a bad look. I still think he gets taken in the top 3 picks.
I think so too, but I don't think I would go number one. That's a risk, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's insanely talented, though. I hate to give credit to Kansas for anything, but this kid's real. He just doesn't want to play.
It's very interesting. Sorry, U2's great, but we got to bring this back again, baby. Let's go. USA women's hockey getting the gold this time, coming in the clutch. Hillary Knight, the tying goal. Megan Keller with the overtime winner to get USA over Canada in the gold medal match. Go USA, baby.
Pretty good this afternoon. I mean, that was intense. And, maybe round 1 or 2 of USA get to take that. What's the status?
I don't know. I mean, the still semifinal round. It doesn't look like Sidney Crosby's going to play for Canada. It's not looking that great. I don't know if there's an official ruling, but
Canada takes off Finland. I know USA versus Slovakia. When are those games?
They're tomorrow, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I still am rooting for that matchup, though. I just want to, and I'll root for USA for sure, but I want to see them have to try to beat Bennington. I think that makes it a lot more interesting, personally.
I agree with that. The upside is a lot better when those twos are facing off against each other. So I do hope for everyone's sake that it is USA Canada in the gold medal match on the men's side. But go USA, play Freebird. We're going to talk SEC basketball tiers next year on The Big Show.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin-McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin and Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin and Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin and Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin and Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin and Sticklin, it's a home run.
This is the year she gets an upgraded diamond, the year that dad finally gets his retirement watch, and the year that your daughter graduates, so you give her the necklace she's always dreamed of. Family Pawn is not your traditional pawn shop, but they are your secret to saving big on stunning jewelry for every occasion. Family Pawn, where you'll find timeless treasures for a fraction of the cost. FamilyPawn.com.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Your restaurant has great food, but you're still not seeing as many people come through the door as you'd like. You offer an amazing experience, and the food is incredible, but you just need more people to try you. That's where ShopMidmo.com comes in. When you're part of ShopMidmo.com, thousands of potential customers will see your offers, helping you build your exposure. It's an amazing tool for restaurants who offer great experiences to the best foodies in town. Find out how ShopMidmo.com can give your restaurant a jump start. Contact us at
ShopMidmo.com.
Life has many sweet sounds, whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration. Hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants and All Make Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Christine Lisi. With the U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey Team down a goal late in the gold medal game, Captain Hillary Knight scored the game-tying goal. 2:04 to go in regulation. Megan Keller scored the game winner less than a minute left in overtime. Team USA won its third Olympic gold and first in 8 years with the 2-1 win over Canada in the final. NBA Warriors guard Steph Curry will miss a sixth straight game tonight against the Celtics with his bothersome right knee. He recently underwent an MRI, reports ESPN's Shams Charania.
Showed no structural issue in his right knee, but he is dealing with persistent swelling and pain in that knee. The team is describing it as runner's knee. So both the Warriors and Curry need all of that to subside before he can try to start to play again. And it's uncertain whether that will be days or weeks more away for Stephen Curry.
Sixers center Joel Embiid right shin soreness out tonight against the Hawks. The NBA informed the league's 30 GMs. The league plans to make anti-tanking rule changes for next season. Among the topics discussed, flatten odds for all lottery teams.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house,
Bush,
back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead,
Touchdown, Kansas City.
to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Our SEC basketball tiers update is coming up here in just a few minutes. You can let us know how much credit are we giving the Tigers after the week that they had since our last update, which was losing badly to Texas, where you thought they might have a chance to win. Then beating Vanderbilt, but of course beating Vanderbilt in the way that it happened. There might be some debate there between Andy and I. We will see coming up here in just a few short minutes. And also talk a little bit of baseball at 5:25, getting back into the prediction game, projecting the top player in wins above replacements for both the Cardinals and the Royals for this season. Let us know your thoughts on that and more with a call or a text. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
It was very dicey the way the Mizzou closed out the game against Vandy. Vandy had a chance to heave a half-court shot and win it. It almost went in. And Mizzou fans breathe a sigh of relief. And that's understandable. You would have liked to win that game by a little more than they did. Still a win, though. And Mizzou, I think, kind of needed it. Certainly, if you want to go 1-1 each week, I think it definitely needed it. Arkansas this Saturday is going to be a toughie. So the fact that Mizzou got this one under their belt, it's a quad 1A win, and it boosts Mizzou's resume. Committee's not going to care whether you won the game by 1 point or 20. They're going to care that you won, and Mizzou won it. So ultimately, that's what matters. Tigers trying to get 2 more to, I think, solidify their NCAA tournament resume.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
It was interesting. Some national reporters got an inside look at how the NCAA tournament committee goes through their process of selecting the teams. They kind of award at-larges to teams that they think pretty clearly are going to deserve it because of how well they've done. And then they have a bunch of bubble teams that they basically call in consideration. It actually looked like we got an inside look as to the schools that were included in the in consideration category. And, well, Mizzou's in there, so they're clearly not out of this. We'll see how long they can stay in.
Number 3.
Mizzou women's basketball tonight has what I think is probably their most winnable game left, home against Auburn, who is kind of near the bottom of the SEC standings. Mizzou also is in the bottom half. They're 4-8, though. They can get to a 5th SEC win, which would very much be a step forward from past years if they can get to that mark, even with the finish they have at LSU, at South Carolina, and hosting Oklahoma. So the Tigers just want to get back in the win column at least one more time at home after a week off, and they've had to sit with that Tennessee loss that was pretty lopsided for a week now. I'm sure they want to shake that away. 6:15 is when coverage starts for Mizzou Women's Hoops tonight on KTGR.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Darren Peterson's situation keeps getting weirder and weirder. He checked out of the game essentially himself with 17 minutes to go for Kansas. That appeared to be kind of a surprise to Bill Self even, and he even admitted in the postgame that, yeah, I thought we had it all figured out, and it seems that we don't. Either way, I think Darren Peterson's a top 3 NBA pick, but yeah, this is not a great look for him.
Number 5.
What are the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Team USA women's hockey gets it done. Can the men join them in the gold?
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. Sure seemed that Team USA today was having to really scrape and claw to get that tying goal, and they almost didn't, but kudos to them not giving up towards the end. 2 minutes left, and they deflect in a shot to tie it. And then I actually didn't know that overtime in the medal round for the Olympics is 3-on-3, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for some intense moments.
Right?
I don't know. That's interesting because obviously NHL playoffs, when we think about it, you get rid of the 3-on-3 and you just play until somebody scores to keep it, equitable, I guess. But it's not that it's not fair. It's just that you know that it's going to be over a little bit quicker when you're in the 3-on-3 modes and you got to play that defensive style. Getting the game tying goal, that was insane. And I just hope it doesn't hurt them too much in the metrics. But like you said, they won the game. And so ultimately that's all that matters. There's no asterisk on the gold medal for having to win it in overtime, is there? I don't think the margin is.
No, there is not.
Here.
There decidedly is not.
A win is a win, and that's the theme of the show today, I guess.
No one will care how you beat Canada in hockey. Just beat Canada in hockey.
And just get the gold. So they did.
Do it. We'll see if the men can do it. Coming up. They got to get past Slovakia first. Don't look past your semifinal opponent, obviously. But that's going to be where all the attention is tomorrow, the semifinals. And then ready to get up a little bit earlier on Sunday, 7 a.m. local time is when the gold medal match is for hopefully Team USA in the men's hockey world. So we'll see if they can get it done. All right. We've got Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets to give away at 5:20. Be staying tuned for that here on the Big Show.
Difficult question of trivia, you said it's going to be a little tougher this time?
Tougher than the last two, I think.
All right.
All right. You might have to, last two were answers that if you, all you have to do is watch Mizzou basketball for the last 4 years and you'll know the answer. This one, you got to go back a little bit further. So that's maybe the difficulty of it all. Hint, but like that's a little bit of a hint.
Ready.
Yeah, but I'm sure Mizzou basketball fans will know this answer. So be staying tuned for that at 5:20. We'll give you a chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets if you are the winner of our trivia challenge involving Mizzou basketball at 5:20. Okay. Still at the top of our SEC basketball tiers is Florida.
I think decidedly so.
Don't see a reason to change that.
No, they let me down. They did not cover a huge number against South Carolina. And I was just like, Florida's going to probably win by 30. But then they just kind of played with their food a little bit. But the other game they had this week was a solid win over Kentucky at home, where they didn't cover that number either, but it was very strangely in the double digits. So I'm not going to count that against them. They handle business. Gators are tough, man. That would be maybe the one team from this league that I think can actually win the national championship. But I'm also not sure I'm most confident, like, relative to the other teams, to say like Florida's in a tier of its own. For you, Florida was last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right? You just said they're the one team. I still feel like Alabama, even though you need all those overtimes, like, they're handling business, and that's still like a Final Four capable type of team to me. So I don't know. Obviously they're just coming off the win last night, double overtime, crazy game, 117-115, the final against Arkansas. And they beat South Carolina by, well, the same margin Florida did on Valentine's Day. So I'm going to leave Bama in my top tier, but I don't necessarily, if you thought they were second tier last week, I don't think they did anything this week to make you think differently.
I would keep them where they are. And I think I had a large second tier, didn't I? Like 5
Yeah,
teams
yours was robust.
Like
I like to call it. Vandy, Arkansas, Tennessee, Bama, Kentucky was your 5-pack.
Vandy,
if I'm not mistaken.
Arkansas, Bama, Tennessee, Kentucky. Yeah, that sounds right. Let's see what Tennessee did. Tennessee held serve. 2 opponents that are lesser. Handled both LSU and Oklahoma. LSU game maybe closer than it should have been. I don't think they covered that quite the way.
What's the margin?
They won by 10. I think the spread was 12.
But that's kind of similar. You're winning by double digits in the SEC. I'm going to say that you did your job more or less.
Auburn, aside from that loss yesterday, which I don't think you should ding them for, going on the road and win and almost winning there, having several shots to do so
against Mississippi State. You don't think we ding them for that?
Did I say? I said Arkansas.
Oh, you said Auburn.
Oh, did I say Auburn? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you if you're talking about Arkansas. I don't ding them one bit.
Well, Auburn, I don't have in this tier.
You do not.
Arkansas beat Auburn at home by 13 points on Saturday, so I don't think they've done anything to either go up or down.
And I'm scared. I'm very glad you got the Vandy win, because you don't need to beat Arkansas. You really always want to. You'd like to, but it's not a mortal necessity, and that's a better situation to be in, as I think we all agree. You can have a little bit of that house money mentality. So,
I mean, with Vandy, I don't think they should drop either.
That's an interesting one.
I don't think they should drop either.
In my head, they've been scuffling, right? But it's not really true.
No.
They lost to Oklahoma and frankly had the exact same thing happen in that game as they did last night, where they were up by, Oklahoma was up by 20 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they lose by, Vandy comes back and loses by 8 points.
Right.
In that one, their buzzer beating 3 was to lose by 1 rather than actually having a chance to win the game like they did last night. But that's the only other game that Vandy has lost in a good bit, and they beat A&M soundly on Saturday. So I still think this is a tier 2 team. They didn't play their A game last night. We were talking about Mizzou's defense. I think as some of those shots for Vandy weren't falling, I was kind of breathing a sigh of relief, because sometimes it felt like not talking about at the end when they were making the furious comeback, just throughout the game, it felt like there probably could have been more Vanderbilt shots that would fall. They made up for it in the end by making everything. But Vandy is a really good team that I don't think played its best game last night. Missouri played really, really well until the end. I don't look at Vandy and ding them for last night, though. And their other game this week was an impressive win.
Yeah.
By double digits over A&M.
Yeah, I think they stay. And then the other team I had in this tier, Kentucky, let's think about this one.
There's a conversation to be had with this one, I think.
So, I mean,
they should have not lost to Georgia.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't think you ding them much for losing at Florida.
No, they covered, but the Georgia thing, they're capable of so much in the good direction, this Kentucky team. But boy, are they capable of some things that, maybe it's more about Georgia. I've been very anti-Georgia, and so my bias with this one is hard to get around, Andy. But I do feel like I'm compelled to feel I kind of want to other Kentucky for that one, but I don't know if it's
one bad week though.
They've bad game. I'm not even going to call it a bad week.
Yeah, and
talk me out of it.
Yeah, because they had won 8 of 9 up to that point.
Yeah,
and so they've clearly shown what their mean is.
Yeah, I'm trying to college football them by dropping them.
Yeah,
I'm getting a little bit
that's the
too
thing.
reactionary.
Yeah.
But man,
Well,
at
maybe
home against Georgia?
maybe we think about if there's somebody in tier 3 that was outperforming this week that maybe deserves a chance to be in a similar verse as Kentucky, potentially.
Not in my third tier.
Okay, who's in your third tier?
Well, I've got Missouri along with A&M and Auburn. You've got A&M and Auburn.
Oh,
as
okay.
The only two, and I would say they both had actually pretty bad weeks. We have to kind of rethink what tier 3 might look like.
True.
After all, Auburn, you felt like it could happen. I mention Josh Hubbard's name every time we talk about Mississippi State because he can do that to you, but still, Auburn. I mean, it was a double digit. It was like a 15, 16 point deficit at half.
Yeah.
And they closed it. They looked like they were going to be just fine. And then they sort of ran out of steam. I understanding that Missouri may suffer the same fate here in a couple weeks. I do ding Auburn for it because you look up and Auburn is 14-12. They're 5-8 in conference play. Why are we just so in love with Auburn? They had some good non-conference wins.
Look, they're a bubble team. They're a bubble team to
losses,
me.
but they should be a dang bubble team. They're barely 500, including the non-con.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree with you. They should be now. All of their non-con losses are to top 20 teams.
They lost by a point
tough.
to Houston.
Yeah.
There was some really good stuff in there, and they won some games against tournament teams in non-conference play. But man, I think it's gone too far. They'll be fine as long as they don't suffer more bad losses because their schedule does have an Ole Miss. It's got maybe an LSU still remaining. Auburn's got the games left that they ought to be able to win. They'll be favored, I think, in 3 of the 5, if I had to guess. So They should be fine. But if Auburn drops another one that we're looking at last night going, whoa, what happened there, Tigers? What happened there, Stephen Pearl? If that happens again, Andy, I would like to think there would be an adjustment from the powers that be on what we make of this team. And so this is my long-winded way of saying, I can't move anybody from tier 3 up unless I'm considering doing it with Missouri. Now, obviously, Missouri losing to Texas negates that they kind of had a stagnant week in my mind, so I'm not moving Mizzou up.
But is it stagnant when they beat Vanderbilt and to essentially make up for the fact that they lost to Texas?
That's what stagnant means. You 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. They're right about where
I'd
they were.
argue. I don't know.
If they lose close to Texas, I feel differently. But that was not a good showing when you needed it, when it felt like you really had an opportunity.
I don't know what my previous tiers look like, but I am willing to just put. I am willing to put Texas, Mizzou, A&M, and Auburn all in the same tier 3.
Texas, Mizzou. So right now you're moving Mizzou and Texas up a tier, basically.
Yeah, because I think they're similar to A&M and Auburn.
Can I ask you?
And
I had Georgia also in that tier, though. And they
in which tier? In the 4th tier with Mizzou?
They were in the 4th tier.
Okay.
The 4th tier you had was Mizzou, Texas, Georgia, and now they've all. It's almost for me like tiers 3 and 4 have switched. Mizzou, Texas, Georgia is still a tier, but it's tier 3, and they're ahead of Auburn and Texas A&M.
Well, here's the thing. I might just have to include Georgia in that one too. I've got 2 pretty lengthy tiers here in tier 2 and 3.
It's busy between 7th and 12th in the SEC. It's very busy.
And
11th or so.
And again, I think in that 3rd tier, one of those teams will miss the NCAA tournament entirely.
Yeah, that's interesting. You can't really delineate between the 5 of who will or who won't.
Right.
Because they're all kind of in the mix to theoretically, they all look like they're in right now, I would think.
But I don't think all of them will. I think one of them will stumble down the stretch.
And so what I had was already I had Mizzou in tier 3 with A&M and Auburn. But so for me, that's why I can say they're stagnant because they don't move. They kind of stay where they are. Texas with its big win, I do think jumps up to join that tier. I'm trying to remember Texas's other result from the past week.
They won on Tuesday against LSU by 3.
They held on.
They held on,
and they got it done. So that's a 2-win week, and that's good to see. Georgia is going to be the one that's difficult for me because they had the most impressive win of anybody to go to Kentucky and win, but they also got popped over the weekend by Oklahoma. I might have to acknowledge that Georgia, you're doing it from a perspective of these teams are all probably in except for one. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say A&M, Auburn, Missouri, and Texas are all in a tier. Georgia is by themselves in tier 4, not because of their resume. They're going to make the tournament. I just still don't think they're very good, and I'm being mean. I should honestly put Auburn down with them. I will, because if I'm gonna talk about it like that, Auburn's gonna join Georgia in Tier 4, where it's just like I don't trust you. Even A&M, I'm gonna keep in Tier 3 because I don't think that they are. Maybe like earlier in the year, I was kind of dogging on them, and they held on last night to beat Ole Miss. I trust them more than I do Auburn and Georgia, and that's where I draw my line.
A&M came back to beat Ole Miss. Actually, I think they had to overcome a double-digit deficit themselves to climb back in that game.
I'm trying to remember why I didn't see any of that game. Was that 6 o'clock game?
I think it was a 6 o'clock game.
I think I was doing bedtime. I think I was racing to do bedtime.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. I'll say this: 8 p.m. is kind of late, and I don't really like, but it worked out last night because
you do get to see
kids are in bed.
I missed the part of the game that was bad. I guess Mizzou started kind of slow, and I come out of the bedroom there, and they're making shots and they're doing things. So, yeah. Right. Anyway, I'll cop to it. I didn't see A&M play last night, but I trust them enough to keep them in Tier 3 with Mizzou and Texas. Auburn, Georgia is my Tier 4. And Tier 2 is Vandy, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. I'm not changing anything with those teams right now.
All right. With the last 5 that we have left here, here's what I'll do.
What's the Oklahoma problem here? Is there a...
I'm going to say Oklahoma and Mississippi State are in Tier 4.
Oh, yeah. The more Hubbard consistently does Hubbard-y things, that's a challenge. Do you at all consider that Oklahoma laid an egg against Tennessee yesterday?
Sure. That's what I expect a team in Tier 4 to do against a team in Tier 2.
Yeah, the margin though was
no, I understand that part, but I mean they have done a lot more to show that they're more dangerous than the other teams that are in this grouping. Like Ole Miss has done nothing recently. Same with LSU and same with South Carolina.
Yeah, it's almost I'm scared to play you metric.
Yes.
And now
they're going to spoil somebody down the stretch here.
Mizzou plays at both places still. Is that why? Or is it just because already lost to LSU, already lost to Ole Miss. Totally get that. I wouldn't be afraid to play either of those teams tomorrow if Mizzou had those teams on their schedule again. So yeah, I'm actually going to match you on those tiers.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Oklahoma and Mississippi State are both dangerous, which is why Missouri needs to be on their P's and Q's. And you're going to, by the time we get to Tuesday, you're going to really want to beat Tennessee because that's a home game that, is similar to the Vandy game where, boy, is it a great opportunity to give yourself margin to not have to win as many on the road, if any. I mean, if they go Tennessee, Arkansas at home, they get to 10 that way without winning a single road game. That could happen, but those are two tough teams. So, I am a little bit worried about that Mississippi State game right now. Just thinking about the way that they've been playing and how Josh Hubbard has been doing his job.
Yeah, so I think Oklahoma and Mississippi State in Tier 4 is the most dangerous non-tournament teams in the SEC.
Yeah,
and then
they're both out.
Ole Miss, LSU, South Carolina. They're the doormat. So those are our SEC basketball tiers. I think we did as well as we could with that.
Yeah, this ended up kind of coming into play pretty nicely. Did you see last night, by the way, Josh Hubbard was shouting to a former player of Mississippi State that then joined Auburn, and he said, "You don't leave state," and he was pointing across his chest. That's something you don't really see as much in the modern era where it's like transfer portal is the way to go. This is a guy that stayed at Mississippi State, probably could have had opportunities to go elsewhere and be in an NCAA tournament. Didn't lead, Mississippi State to a good season this year.
Right.
And yet, had pride in still, the way that they're playing. That's the anti-Darren Peterson, as I call it, where he's just Josh Hubbard, pride in being where he is. Now, Mississippi State's made the tournament in several straight years before this one. So it's not like he's been completely,
he's had a chance
play in that
it.
environment.
Right.
But I do think that there's something to be said for. I just really like Hubbard as a player, and I want to not like him the day that Mizzou plays him. But I thought that was kind of cool in an era where we're talking about the portal and NIL. He's like going after a former teammate with 2 seconds left in the game because he knows that they're beating that Auburn team that he went to go and join. So I thought that was kind of fun.
875 KTGR. Call or text us here. Those are our SEC basketball tiers. You can text us yours, 573-875-KTGR. In the meantime,
Let's get you one more chance to win a pair of tickets to the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia this Saturday at the Wyndham Executive Center. You can go to ktgr.com and buy tickets there and support a great cause, obviously. But you can also win tickets right now. It'll be a lot of fun either way. We hope you come on by and enjoy all the chili, obviously. All the teams deck out their booths with some excellent themes. And there's a kids area, so you can bring the whole family. Lots of fun. We love going every single year. We love supporting this event, and it's all for a great cause benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. So get all the details at ktgr.com if you want to buy tickets in advance and save a little bit on your tickets, or you can win right now if you're the winner of our Mizzou basketball trivia question, and it is this. So Mark Mitchell currently leads Mizzou men's basketball in points, rebounds, and assists. Who was the last Mizzou men's basketball player to do that? If you know the answer, text it to us, 573-875-KTGR. The last Mizzou men's hoops player to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists in a single season. Good luck, everybody. Again, text in the answer, 573-875-KTGR. We'll get to that. And some Cardinals and Royals talk next. Who will be the best player, essentially, by wins above replacements, the top player for both teams this year? We'll give our predictions on that next on The Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hey, construction dude, congrats on the killer contract in Cape. Sweet. So, how are you going to get that Mongo crane down to the job site? Here's a haul of an idea. Just Google I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for heavy equipment hauling, too. Semis, dozers, RVs, goosenecks, farm and construction stuff, school buses, boats, bring it. If you use it, they can move it. Call the team they think you'll really love to meet. I70towing.com. Goosenecks. Give me some long necks.
Brian Ware Plumbing has answered a lot of your calls over the years. And you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
You know your favorites. Now it's time to put them on the map. Nominations are open for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Now through March 1st. Nominate the businesses and places you love, including Best Pizza, Best Bar, Best Chiropractor, Best Insurance Agent, and Best Home Repair and Remodeling. You can nominate once per day. So come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Nominate today at InsideColumbia.net.
Hey, y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. What happens when two pharmacists, a restaurant dude, and a math whiz walk into a bar? They buy it, and those four awesome people are the new owners of Billiards. Like a good Oscar speech, we don't have enough time to thank everybody. But if you've been part of our journey, we just want to say thanks for boogieing on down.
Boogie on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on the wrong way. Yeah.
Les, honey, I'm coming home.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
With Steve, all I have to do is call. I tell him the problem, he takes care of it. That's the way I like it. A good player that can put it in the basket.
This is Coach Norm Stewart, so you should probably listen to what he has to say about Steve's pest control.
Yeah, during my tenure as a coach, I had a lot of ball players that weren't highly recruited, and that's not to take anything away from their talent, because when they got to Missouri, they became the best. They became the best because they worked at it every day. That's what you'll find with Steve. He works at it continuously. That's what Steve does. He's going to give you his best all the time. he'll take care of the bugs. Believe me. He does for me in Columbia, and he does for me at the lake.
This is Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problems. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Every Thursday is steak night at Hy-Vee. Get a choice strip steak and 2 sides for just $12, 4 to 7 p.m. only at Hy-Vee.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
We're still looking for our winner.
I am not surprised by that.
To be honest, I knew this was going to be a little bit tougher, but yeah, we're still looking for the winner right now. I'll give a hint. Well, first of all, I'll give a clarification. It's a Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. If you want to call or text us, you can do so at 573-875-KTGR. The question is, it was kind of related to the situation with Mark Mitchell right now because he is currently leading Mizzou in points, rebounds, and assists on the season. And so the question was, okay, who is leading? Who was the last Mizzou player to do that in points, rebounds, and assists in a single season? Who was the last Mizzou player to lead the whole team? The clarification I am giving is total points, total rebounds, total assists.
Okay. And I will be totally honest. I have been combing old teams because I was not going to come up with the answer on my own. I had a couple guesses and I checked them and they were wrong. And so now I'm just trying to find the answer myself. And if it's the guy that I found, I don't know if anybody's going to get it because it might not be though. Like Andy and I did consult on this. And so I found an example of someone doing that. My hint would be it's been a minute since that happened. It has. But everything you're saying tracks with this individual. You might have dug deep on this one. Might have dug a little bit deep on this one.
Dig a little bit deeper on it. So yes, total points, total rebounds, total assists. If you know the answer of who led Mizzou in all 3 categories in one season, text it to us 573-875-KTGR.
I think people could cheat and have a hard time winning this.
I mean, you have it at your disposal. You can go and look it up. You also had Daniel texted in. I think Daniel was trying to help people out. People should have listened to Tiger Talk Tuesday night. I think they might have mentioned it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll let people keep guessing. 573-875-KTGR. If you know the answer, text it to us. Still looking for our winner. So there we go. It is one that you needed to go a little more into the lexicon on it. So
for sure, because I'm not even going to say anything further because I don't know if I'm combing. I started at a year that was a while ago, and now I'm moving forward year by year to go. Is it somebody do it this year? Somebody do it this year? No. Okay. I don't know. I think I got the guy. I just don't know if anybody's going to guess him.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, why don't we talk some Cardinals and Royals baseball?
Okay.
So what kind of inspired this? MLB came out with the projected top player for each team and the metric they're using for it is WAR. Not the most perfect metric out there to measure a player,
pretty good, though.
But it's about the best
player value. MLB did this.
MLB released the list. I think it's from Fangraphs and some other sites that their projections as to how they project each player to do. Collection of different data sets. Do you want to guess who they projected the top Cardinal to be?
Oh, and it does depend, I think, and if it's Fangraphs WAR or Baseball Reference or what we're using. But I'm going to say Mason Wynn would probably be my guess.
You are right.
I would have been worried that they'd be using a metric that doesn't value defenses highly, but knowing that either way he's going to grade out well with the defensive WAR, And I think he's going to have a better season offensively. It sounds like maybe the metrics, the prognosticators agree. So, all right, Mason Wynn. I don't think that's particularly controversial. I do think he's going to need to, probably do a little bit more offensively to get there. Like he was 2.2 wins above replacement last year on Baseball Reference. Not sure what he was on Fangraphs, but I can check that. The other side of this, I guess, Andy, would be, well, maybe he doesn't have to do more because if he gets, 3 wins above replacement and the Cardinals don't have anybody better, then
maybe your best player.
Winner.
Yeah,
he's the winner. So
congratulations.
But he should be able to roll out of bed and get 3 wins above replacement. And looks like last year he was 3.5 on Fangraphs. So I guess maybe this might be a Fangraphs deal. But either way, he was 3.5 with the offense being very underwhelming and taking a step back at the plate. So if he has a requisite season offensively, he could be one of the top 10 or 15 or 20 players in baseball in WAR. Mason Wynn can do that, and I'd love nothing more than to see it for him.
I think I am waiting to see the bat part of it, and if it does start to develop a little more, then you could even see him because they project him at around 3.5, I think, for that,
which is what he just did.
Right, yeah. So if you start to add a little more offense, one that is maybe consistent with what they were hoping for when they saw him as a prospect, I think you maybe reach 4. You maybe even get to that type of point.
Well, honestly, even without more offense, he might reach 4 because you got to remember he only played in 129 games last year because he missed most of September coming back from the knee thing. They went and got the procedure done so that he would be getting the jump start on the offseason. He wanted to play through it as long as he possibly could, but he was in pain. He was able to play long enough to still gain the consideration he needed for Gold Glove, and that's great. But he actually had more WAR in 2024 when he had 3.6, according to Fangraphs, because he played 21 additional games. But he also hit better that year. So I think Mason Wynn, I think he's assuming he doesn't have a long stint on the injured list, I think he's a 4-win player by Fangraphs this year. And I will say that he gets to 5. I say, wow. I don't know if that's a bold prediction. I think he will be a 5-win player according to Fangraphs. Probably a little less for Baseball Reference because I don't think they give you quite as much credit for defense. But I think he's a 5-win player if he plays 150 games. The defense stays largely the same, and he OPS 730. He was a 6-something OPS this past year. If he's OPSing 720, 730, he's a 5-win player. That's the level of defense that he brings.
Well, and again, just to put that into reference, I'm not saying you're wrong, but to put it into reference, some of those other projections that they have across the rest of the league, they project a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong to be at 4.7. They project William Contreras to be at 4.5. Ellie De La Cruz at 4.7. So those could be your peers. And again, if you're reaching 5 and again, we don't know what they'll do. It's all of just trying to predict what is an unpredictable game. But you're in that type of air if you are putting together that type of season and even surpassing what those guys are doing. So that would be a wild success if you ask me.
Well, and PCA last year was a 5.4 according to Fangraphs. And so they're projecting a drop for him.
Okay.
Because he started off like gangbusters at the plate. His weighted runs created plus last year, and that's like the Fangraphs version of OPS plus. It's based on a 100-point scale. He was a 109, so he was only 9% above league average as a hitter last year. But PCA is striking out, 180 times or whatever it is, 160 times, where I don't think that's liable to be Mason Wynn's game. Same thing with an Ellie De La Cruz. I think those types of guys end up getting dinged a little bit more for the strikeout stuff. Whereas a Mason Wynn, just be the player that he can be. Even in a season last year, he wasn't great, only 102 strikeouts. So I think 5 wins is attainable for him, even with just a modest increase to his production offensively.
Are there any other candidates for this?
There definitely are candidates for it. I don't think on the pitching side. I'm going to say out front, I don't think there's a pitcher on the Cardinals that I would say has 5 WAR upside. I don't know if they came out with just position players for this or if they've got pitchers on the list.
It is any player, whoever is projected to have the highest WAR.
Okay. And now I've pulled up Fangraphs to see what they say about the various Cardinals. They've got McGreevy as the highest WAR projection at 2.0. Libby's at 1.9. So that seems about right. You don't have a 5-win pitcher on this Cardinals team. Herrera is the one that I think really has a chance to do it, because if he's catching half the time or more and makes the improvements behind the plate, you're going to get credit for that defense, and he can be one of the premier hitters in this league. So I think Herrera would be one that could do it, but I'm skeptical that he will have the type of season that at the end of it, we're talking about Ivan Herrera is going to be the catcher for the Cardinals moving forward. I think the opposite's going to happen. I think he's going to eventually transition to either DH or have to pick up an outfielder's mitt, which he's to this point not done and doesn't plan to do. He said this week. So, I would say Herrera. I would say if I'm going in the Mason Wynn ilk, Victor Scott is not actually a wrong answer. I wouldn't predict him to do it, but like with Mason Wynn, if Victor Scott plays 150 games of Gold Glove caliber defense, which he was a finalist last year, didn't win it, but was a finalist, and OPS is 700, there's your 4-win player or better. Now, granted, he's got a bit of a steeper hill to climb to get to that 700 or better OPS, because last year he was a 601. So
yeah, I could be like complete onto the hype train and say JJ Weatherholt. Yeah, baby, let's go.
Yeah, honestly, that's not crazy. Yeah, that
you don't think so? I mean,
that could be the answer.
Could be.
For sure.
I don't know. James is texting in JJ Weatherholt for NL Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
He could win Rookie of the Year and not get 5 WAR, but it depends on the rookie class that he's up against. But yeah, I would say he's actually probably a better answer than Victor Scott. I just know that Scott's gonna. I used the phrase already, but he's gonna roll out of bed with some good. And again, I'm basing this off of Fangraphs. Some really good credit for what he does defensively, and so that's more than half the battle. You just need to be a league average player at the plate, and I think you're in range to potentially lead the Cardinals in WAR with the defense that I expect he'll be able to bring. So I think you're right on with Weatherholt. Maybe I'm being careful about assigning too much of an expectation to him, but I don't think it's crazy at all that you would list him and say, hey, I mean, this guy, there are expectations on him for a reason.
So that's the Cardinals candidates. I think they're right to say that Mason Wynn is the best candidate to lead the team in WAR.
Wynn, Weatherholt, and I'm going to give a shout out to Victor Scott because I really want to see it. I'm trying to will that into being.
The Royals side should be pretty simple. Should be.
Jack Caglianone's going to have a great
that's why I don't know who else you're thinking of. I
don't know anybody else.
If Bobby Witt doesn't win this, then I would think the Royals maybe struggle to make the playoffs.
They don't make the playoffs. I don't think there isn't a correct second answer that I feel good about things for the Royals. You could say, well, what if Vinny Pasquantino fence moves in and he hits 50 bombs? And I still don't think he's getting to. Bobby Witt had 6.7 this past. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's his projection according to Fangraphs. 6.7. I need to look at what he just was, and it was in kind of like can I say it? It was a down season offensively because it wasn't like MVP season.
It wasn't MVP level, right?
Which the year before that, in 2024, he was a 10.5.
That's
WAR.
Great.
That's what he was on Fangraphs, playing shortstop, doing the things he did offensively. Last year he was 8, and it was a down year relative to what he had done the previous season. So I don't think there is a damn thing in the world that Pasquantino can do to overcome what Fangraphs will look at and say, he's playing first base. There's really no defensive value to that. You'd have to be like David Ortiz hitting 52 home runs with 155 RBIs and walking 118 times. Like it would have to be, and even then, I don't think he can touch what Bobby Witt Jr. should be able to do in just a requisite year. Another guy who can roll out of bed. His roll out of bed is to get 7 WAR. So it's Bobby Witt. It has to be.
Yeah. Pasquantino can't get to that point. Caglianone. I mean, maybe Caglianone gets the 50 home run. I don't know. Caglianone's the future, baby.
I want to see what he is on. Yeah, I brought him up kind of jokingly, but I do think he'll have a better season this year than just the one in which he kind of got acclimated and was not particularly effective. Fangraphs has the number 2 prediction as Michael Garcia at 3.7.
That's true. Yeah.
He came out of nowhere to be an offensive threat last year.
Yeah.
Like his previous seasons, he was kind of defense first and then played good defense last year and was a really, really productive hitter. But that still is only projecting 3.7. Vinny P only projecting 2.1 on Fangraphs. That just shows you like when they say WAR, they're talking about the whole game. It's not just what you do at the plate, it's defense as well.
Yeah.
And every first baseman will be assigned a negative value for defense on their metric just because it's not a position that merits, even if you're a really good defensive first baseman, you're hoping to just kind of break even there.
Yeah.
So they only think he'll get to 2.1. I think he'll beat that because I think he's going to have a huge offensive season, but he's not touching Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. could lead baseball in WAR, and that would not be very much
surprising at all.
Yeah.
He had an 8 last year.
It felt like he was just like a guy.
Right.
He's really good.
No, he was. He still was OPSing, I think, over 800 and like all that, and it was, but just not MVP level.
Yeah.
So you're like, what's wrong with Bobby Witt?
852. Ho hum. Still
Boy,
slugged 500.
Yeah.
Still hit 295 in an era where batting average, you don't really see that. He almost batted 700 times, and even 125 strikeouts is like pretty solid for that many plate appearances. I guess, and he's, by the way, stole 38 bases and was pretty efficient. I guess. Are
you thinking about a pitcher here?
No, but I do want to know who they would say is the best pitcher.
Well, Reagan's probably.
Yeah, if you worry about him staying healthy, but I think in this world where you can project upside, you are certainly thinking it would be Cole Reagan's in terms of having the most upside.
And then maybe next is Seth Lugo in that category.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah. Waka's, interesting conversation, I guess, between Waka, Noah Cameron, and Chris Bubich, but I think they're all kind of similar.
Cameron probably
level.
doesn't strike out enough guys to get quite the love from the metrics the way that he would need to. I mean, if he becomes a strikeout per inning guy, Cameron's a candidate.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really anything close to that last year, and yet was extremely effective. And so his growth, in projecting his longevity, I want to see him strike more guys out because I think he had decent enough K numbers at the minors, but didn't really see it translate last year. The question I was going to ask earlier wasn't about the WAR thing. The timelines don't line up perfect, but it is kind of crazy. I don't know if we talk about enough that Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes and Bobby Witt at the same time, like two players that I think will go down as just generational. And they're in the same city at the same time.
Yeah.
In their prime.
Well, for now.
Still.
For now.
In the same metropolitan area at the same time. No, you're saying that Bobby Witt was going to be traded. That was
no. I was not saying that. No. Bobby Witt will not be traded.
No, they'll both.
Don't say never, but
yes. They'll both be with the franchise they're with for life.
Yeah,
they'll be.
Well, at least that's the hope. You would have to think that the way that they have meant to their franchises.
They will, 25 years from now, we will say those were the two most iconic athletes in Kansas City sports history. That's my prediction. Not bold. Certainly Mahomes is number one, but I think Bobby Witt is going to be right there.
It'll be interesting how it finishes for his career. It's still
they need to do
very
some
much
winning with him, but,
entering his prime, right? But he's in that age range where you can project out a lot of what he could do. Cardinals and Royals fans, tell us who's going to be the top player on either team this year. 875-KTGR. We do have our winner now for the trivia challenge, so we will recap the trivia challenge when we come back before we get you to some Mizzou women's basketball coverage at 6:15 here on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou just got by Vanderbilt, despite the fact that Mizzou led by 21 points with 8:43 to go in the second half. Mizzou had to withstand a flurry of points from Vanderbilt to hold on in the end. Vandy had a half-court heave at the buzzer to try and win it, but it did not go in, and the Tigers get a win over a ranked opponent. That's the second time they've done that this year, their fourth Quad 1 victory, and they improved to 18-8 overall and 8-5 in SEC play. Tigers' next one is at Arkansas this upcoming Saturday. Tip-off at 3, coverage at 2:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's hoops returns from a week-long break tonight as the Tigers host the Auburn Tigers. Mizzou 4-8
in SEC play. They host Auburn with a 6:30 tip-off this evening. Coverage begins at 6:15 right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with I-70 Towing, Mid-Missouri's go-to crew. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team you hope you never have to meet, I-70 Towing.
Tracking a big cool down tonight with low temperatures around freezing in the low 30s and upper 20s. Wind chills could be in the upper teens tomorrow morning. We'll be feeling over 20 degrees colder tomorrow in the 40s. That will continue through the weekend with high temperatures in the 30s on Sunday and Monday. We do see another warm-up next week, returning back to the 50s by Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Nate Splater, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Midway Electric presents the High School Sports Power Play of the Week.
Bruce inbounds right wing over to Stockman, inside to Tatum, makes space, hangs in the air, puts it in with the foul. Count the basket for Tatum, another chance at a three-point play. Katovsky the foul, and Hickman cuts the lead to 3.
That's the Power Play of the Week with Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Hy-Vee invites you to the second annual Sip and Savor event, benefiting the Food Bank for Central and Northeast Missouri, February 21st at the Northeast Events Center in Columbia, with unlimited tastings of spirits, wine, craft beer, food, and a chance to buy some of the rarest bourbon in the country. Weller, E.H. Taylor, the infamous Pappy Van Winkle, and more. Tickets are just $70. Stop by the liquor department at any of your Columbia Hy-Vees to get yours today. February 21st. Sip, sample, and support a great cause. Only from Columbia Hy-Vee.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering, and with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. A auto claim came when my wife was rear-ended. Everyone was safe, but that left a lot of cosmetic damage on her brand new car. We called Phyllis, said, hey, this is what happened, and she made it a very streamlined process. Phyllis lined out our rental car and made everything just so easy. And having 3 kids and losing a vehicle is a big deal, but Phyllis went to bat for us, got everything lined out, and made it a very easy process.
You're a merchant of all things that are man. Firearms, fishing, cars, food, sports. Yeah, the kind of stuff every man always needs more of. So show it off at the Mecca of Man, the 2026 Como Man Show, Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Events Center where the Boone County Fair is held. It's the best and most fun way to show every man they need what you got. Seriously, by showing them. Bring your best stuff, show it off, and have a blast. For more info on being a vendor at the Man Show, go to ComoManShow.com.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Columbia. Coco writes, Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a 3-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin and Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin and Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin and Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin and Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin and Sticklin, it's a home run.
Every Thursday is steak night at Hy-Vee. Get a choice strip steak and 2 sides for just $12. 4 to 7 p.m. only at Hy-Vee.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, congrats to Paige, who sent in the correct answer in our trivia challenge, the first one to do so. We eventually got a couple of people that did it, but Paige was first, so she gets a pair of tickets to the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off this Saturday at the Wyndham Executive Center. The question was, who was the last Mizzou men's hoops player to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists in a single season? Mark Mitchell is currently doing that for Mizzou, but the season is not over, so he is not the answer yet. But a lot of very good guesses, and it would be conceivable that the people that were guessed would have done it, but not quite.
Yeah. Some of them assists, I think, held back some guys that I was searching, oh, did he ever do it? No, I guess not.
Yeah. But, and some of them was the rebounds, because I think a really good guess was Drew Smith.
Okay.
And apparently someone sent me a screenshot. Apparently Google is claiming that it is Drew Smith.
Oh, really? What year?
When it's not right. 1920 was
1920.
No,
wow, that's a minute
2019, 2020. Okay. It was abbreviating it, but 1920, Drew Smith. It's back when they were using the peach baskets. Apparently Google is claiming that it's not right. He didn't even average more rebounds per game than Mitchell Smith that year. Mitchell Smith was at 4.9. Drew Smith was at 4.2, and Mitchell Smith had more total rebounds.
Okay, that was just making sure total rebounds is applicable.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's total points, total rebounds, total assists. Drew Smith is a good guess. Jordan Geist is a good guess too. He was close to it a couple of years.
Geist, yeah, you're thinking about some of the lean years,
right?
If you're going for that, but he was a player in those years for sure.
And you got a couple of guesses for people are going even further back. Linus Kleza, Phil Pressey, Steve Stepanovich. Didn't have to go that far back, but
okay.
You do have to go back to the Norm Stewart days. In fact, the final year of Norm Stewart, 1998-99, Albert White is the right answer.
That's the guy I stumbled upon, and I thought, if that's the answer, it's going to take a hot minute. Because, you're thinking about, I don't know, he just was not the name that was coming to mind for me when there was a chance at that. But obviously should have, because he's the right answer.
Yeah. People, there were guesses for Ricardo Ratliff. In there,
I don't think he was.
Yeah,
he was gonna probably get that many assists.
Assists was going to be the thing holding them back. Larry Drew, Derek Chivas. So some good guesses out there. It's kind of a tough one to draw back on memories for, but
because you wouldn't normally think it would be a point guard because they're probably not going to get the rebounds. You have to kind of,
But the guys like Drew Smith and Jordan Geist, they got in on the glass.
Drew Smith,
quite a bit.
Drew Smith nearly did it. Just looking at the stats from that year, Mitchell Smith, I think, must have just barely edged him out on total rebounds.
Yeah, it was close, but there you go. Albert White, the last Mizzou men's hoops player to lead the team in points, rebounds, and assists in a single season. But I think it's on track that Mark Mitchell is going to take that title here if things hold serve, but he maybe he gets overtaken in assists, but I don't know. He's got a good lead there still.
He's clear Albert White by a good margin in assists per game. White averaged 3.0. Mitchell's at 3.7. White had more rebounds per game, but this isn't just a tremendous rebounding Missouri team. So and Mark Mitchell, we know he scores. So there you have it.
There you go. So thanks for participating all this week in our trivia challenges. And again, if you didn't win, that's all right. You can go to ktgr.com and buy tickets for the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off this Saturday, benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. So we hope to see you there. We hope to see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We'll talk more Mizzou, preview the Arkansas matchup, and more. Mizzou Women's Hoops coming up in 15 minutes here on KTGR. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Okay, the limb is hanging over the driveway. I need this pruned.
Oh, call the electrician.
An electrician?